Hey everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my June reading challenge and my summer TBR all in one mush together because I feel like I'm doing monthly TBRs and I haven't been reading a lot of physical books, I feel like, or just books in general, really. So I thought instead of repeating the same books over and over each month, I will just do my summer one and then I will do a TBR that is going to be mostly like my reading challenge for the month or just keeping you updated on how things are going. So for June, because every month, if you don't know, I'm doing a different reading challenge to try and keep things interesting and making me more motivated as much as possible. For June, because it is Pride Month, I decided to read the rainbow. If you can tell, I do have two rainbow shelves in my background usually. The top one, for anyone that doesn't know, are all books I have read, and the bottom ones are all books I have not yet read. So I thought, why not try to read a couple, like in a week, or you know, like just a reading vlog of these books that I have not read. But for that specific challenge, I wanted to try and read books that are either written by LGBTQ+ authors or that contain some characters that are. So far, I have chosen two books that are exactly on that shelf and that would work for that. I might add during that vlog other ones, maybe an audiobook that might be also like that, but these are the two that I'm the most excited about. So the first one is To Be Thought Fortunate by Becky Chambers. She is the author of the Wayfarer series, which I adore. It's a very beginner-friendly sci-fi, character-driven sci-fi, and it's just very wholesome and very comfortable. And she came out with this short story, which is like super short, really. It's like 140 pages. So I have been in a slump ever since the whole lockdown thing. So, I mean, this should be very easy. It came out last year and I've been dying to read it ever since. I don't think it's actually related to the Wayfarer series, except that it's another, you know, sci-fi and it's supposed to also be character-driven and quite wholesome. And have you seen this cover? It's like to die for. And the author, I'm not sure what she would label herself as, but she is married to a woman. Actually, I figured that out last year because I had read the last book in that Wayfarer series. What is it? Record of a Spaceborne Few. And in that book specifically, there was a couple, two women, older women actually, and I liked how natural it felt. It didn't feel like it was what the story was about. They were just there and it felt just so organic and great. It was just really well written. So I looked the author up and I realized she was married to a woman, so I was like, now it makes sense. So it works for my challenge, and I'm also just dying to read this book. So that's going to be my first one for that challenge. And then the next one is this one, which is also a sci-fi, I'm realizing, but you know, I don't like sci-fi whatsoever. This is How You Lose a Time War, which in this one, I believe there's time travel. It's like a love story-ish between two women that are spy or agent or something, and there's time travel. So, I mean, it totally works. I have heard so many like very varied opinion on this book. Either people absolutely love it or they're really disappointed, and I'm just really dying to read it. Slash, it is kind of part of my reading challenge, my Goodreads one, where I tried to read, you know, a bunch of the runner-ups in a bunch of categories. And sci-fi, there were so many books I was dying to read this year, so that one was definitely part of this. It's also very short, so once again, I have no excuse. I need to get over that slump. It has about like 200 pages, so that's definitely doable. Again, a great cover for some reason. I've been really into some covers. I am absolutely dying to read that one, so I can easily do those two books in 1 week, maybe more. So that will be the second one for that challenge. For a third one though, because I will probably try and read more than just those two. Either I'll try to find another one that works on that shelf or just, you know, take any other one. I know I have a couple other ones, but I just want to try and focus as much as possible on the books that I do have a physical copy of, even if I get the audiobook from my library to just push myself to go through them, because I have been struggling to just sit down and focus and read. I know a lot of people have been feeling the same. Actually, I am officially changing right now my Goodreads reading challenge. I usually put at 100. I will be putting it at 50 like now, because Goodreads has been just such a little biatch about the whole thing, stressing me out. I'm like 10+ books behind at this point, and why stress about it? So I will be putting it at 50. I will most likely, actually I shouldn't say that. I will easily go past that, but no, I will put it at 50. No pressure. We're stopping that here. And yeah, I'm still gonna hope I can get to 100, but if I don't, no big deal. But yes, the two books for that challenge so far, and I will check on my shelves if there are any other books that might be on the shorter side, just so I stay motivated, and that, you know, yeah, that. I'm still doing my challenge of trying to finish the books I've started, because at this point I'm in the middle of like 50 million books, including The Wanderers by Chuck, I can't remember his last name, but At this point, I should just give up on the book, but I know I don't have that much left, so I will just push through, finish the audiobook, and just tell you that it sucks. So, or maybe it won't, because the ending might redeem the whole thing, but so far, not really enjoying it. It is a new post-apocalyptic book, but it feels like everything I've ever read that was post-apocalyptic at this point. But you know, fingers crossed. Quickly again, I am still not done with Crowns of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, which is the second book after Throne of Glass. I'm kind of just about the whole thing. Another one that I am enjoying, though, it was part of my challenge. Was it in February? Wow, dude, you're so late. Leviathan Wakes. I am so far enjoying it. I'm only like, was it like 30% into it? Like I'm over 100 pages into it. So far it was, you know, just fine, but I'm just not done. It was returned to library. I was going through it as an audiobook, so we'll see what I do with it. But I do want to actually get to it because I do, well, I don't have the second book. That's what happens when you buy a used book, but I do have the third one and fourth one. So if I enjoy it, I can, you know, try and binge read the whole thing and eventually watch the TV show, which at this point I've kind of given up on that hope. Why am I talking so fast today? But yes, that. Still not done with 2001 A Space Odyssey at this point. I'm just gonna go through quickly the ones I've mentioned in the past because I don't want to repeat myself, and I have a few other ones that I want to add that will be more interesting to talk about. Children of Ruin. I know, I failed. This was part of my big challenge for May to actually stop pushing back books on my TBR. It's been officially over a year since I've owned this book. Maybe June. Definitely this summer, right? Hyperion, another sci-fi. Damn, I'm definitely in a kick. She said, after like 3 years of reading only that. Hyperion is a classic. I need to read this ASAP. And what else did I mention a few times? Oh, The Toll by Neal Shusterman. Dude, what the actual F are you doing with your life? It's humongous though, but it's wise, so it's written big. Should be pretty fun. It's the last book in this trilogy. I think I'm kind of scared that it's not going to be as good as the first two books, and that's why I've been like pushing it back. That and just the slump, really. I am still definitely on my kick of reading First Contact with Aliens, so that one I had mentioned. This is Dragon's Egg, and I am still hoping to get to it this summer. One that I am adding to my list though is this one. This is Blindsight and by Peter Watts. I was strongly reminded that I own this and I wanted to read more about the Fermi Paradox. If you haven't seen it, I'm currently reading the Remembrance of the Past Earth or something series, first book being The Three-Body Problem, which actually book 3 will be on the TBR. But I was mentioning how the second book, The Dark Forest, contains some really interesting concepts about why aliens have not contacted us, and it's just very science heavy, but like really interesting. If that's your jam, definitely recommend pushing through the first half of both of the first books because they're kind of, but then it becomes super interesting. But yes, apparently this is also very unique and contains, you know, some theories about that concept. And yes, please, I'm such on a kick. Again, she said, I mean, let's be real, I have been on that kick for a while now. But yes, I feel like I've been wanting to read a lot of them, but I haven't read a lot of them. So I was mentioning the last book in that series, which is Death's End. And I want to know how it ends because from the first book, there is contact with aliens that are just coming to destroy us. And I want to know what's going to happen. I am so scared though, because again, like I mentioned, the first two books, the first half are so hard to get into, especially the second book. It was so unnecessary. There's, anyway, I've talked about it enough. But this one is a big boy. It's like almost 600 pages, but I'm dying to see if it's gonna live up to my little hype, my expectations, and I'm just ready for my mind to be blown. So, okay, so more books that I haven't talked about yet. One more sci-fi, and after that we're going to something else. Hopefully all of you like sci-fi. If you don't, I did do a few beginner's guide to sci-fi, so you can, you know, come to the dark side. But this one is part of my Goodreads reading challenge, again, in the sci-fi category. This is A Memory Called Empire. And for some reason, I always want to say that it's fantasy, but it's definitely sci-fi. And I have heard so many amazing things about this. This is apparently like 5 stars for everyone. And obviously I want to read more 5 stars because this year has been such a struggle. It's been very hit or miss. And I have to read it anyway for my challenge. It's also part of my 20 books I want to read in 2020. So really, this is going to be like a 3-in-1. It needs to happen. I need to love it. And hopefully I do. No pressure, right? During the summer, it's always when I start to also finally get back to reading a bunch of mystery thriller horror. I tend to keep them for the fall, but I always start a little early during the summer. I feel like some of them are just really good beach reads, right? So if you have actually any recommendation, I might do actually a reading vlog of that. So I'll make you vote. Ooh, maybe I can like show you what I have on my shelf, the ones I haven't read, and then you can vote on which ones you want me to read. Because again, I'm trying to focus on the books that I have on my shelves. But two that have been recently suggested to me, because I love when people recommend me books that I own already, because again, read your damn books, woman. So the first one was With Malice, which I feel like a lot of people were reading this a few years ago when I started watching BookTube. A lot of people were talking about it. Is it YA? I feel like it's YA. Two friends, an exotic foreign location, the potential for jealousy and revenge, and an accident that looks like it might have been a murder. So yes, please. I do really like the cover too. Again, I don't know what's up with me with covers lately, but I think it's like the influence of everyone caring a lot about it on BookTube, because usually I didn't care, but now I do. What have you done to me? So yes, that one. And another one was If We Were Villains. People were saying that this was also, is it also Y? But people were comparing it to Donna Tartt's The Secret History. Oh, it's even written in the back. There you go. I have a complicated relationship with that book, but I did like the whole like vibe of, you know, university and like kind of mystery in there. So hopefully it gives me, again, similar vibes, because that's the best part, in my opinion, in that book. So hopefully it will be the case with this one too. I know I mentioned I wanted to try and focus on the books that I do own, but I have a few books on my library waiting list that I want to talk about. Some of them might be books that I actually own, maybe. Some of them are part of my reading challenges for the year, so that might be not a bad thing to get to them. The first one is Red, White, and Royal Blue, which was the winner in the romance category, and we know how much romance and me, we clash actually. But I had told myself that if that book was the winner, I would read it, and I do have the audiobook on the waiting list, so I should get to read them anytime I want, actually, because it says available soon. So during the summer, I do tend to read more lightweight, contemporary, and like YA ones too, because I'm just in the mood for very easy, you know, lightweight read. So I will get to that one hopefully and let you know if I'm into it or not. I have no idea. I might actually enjoy it. It happens, you know, once in a while. What else? Ooh, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have the ARC for the new V.E. Schwab book, which for some reason, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I think. It's the one with the love story between the French girl and the devil over 300 years, which, yeah, I will be reading that and letting you know, because hells yeah. So good thing I thought about this. Ooh, I'm hoping I'm actually gonna have time to read that one. I'm a little nervous about it, but Children of God by Mary Doria Russell. I raved about a lot last year, and I'm still raving about it. The Sparrow by the same author, which is the first book in this duology. It's a first contact with alien. We're all shocked. And it's just one of the best books on that topic ever. It's very heartbreaking. I've been calling it the first contact, like a little life of first contact with aliens. It's pretty messed up and dark, but it just really gets to you. Like, the characters are just very attaching. So I didn't know there was a second book at first. Someone told me, and then my library got it, so I have no choice but to read it. I'm really hoping it's going to be good. I don't want it to ruin the first book, but at the same time I want to read it to let you know if it ruins the first book, so you know to avoid it if you also enjoyed The Sparrow. So I will sacrifice myself just for you. Ooh, I was mentioning the horror mystery thrillers that I'm usually in the mood for the summer, so hopefully I get to it before the end of summer. But I do want to read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I do actually have a physical copy on my shelf, so it would be a 2-in-1. I do have the audiobook, worst case scenario, but I do want to try to get that one, because I had seen the movie My Cousin Rachel or something, and I was mind blown. It was so good, and people have been saying that, you know, Rebecca is just as good, if not better, and I will read that book also eventually, hopefully. But yes, it's been on my list for so long. It's a classic, and I feel like not enough like classic horror books are written by women, or at least, you know, not as well known. So I need to, once again, get to that one. I'm sure I will get 2 more books than that during the summer, but like I said, I'll keep you updated in my monthly like TBR / just announcing my reading challenges for each month. I hope you are as excited as I am for the summer. It's like currently raining, like pouring rain, which is not really summery, but I try to like look summery to compensate a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe, let me know in the comment section if any of these books need to be like top priority on my TBR list, because I have been struggling. Hopefully some of you too, but again, hopefully we will all get out of that slump and just binge read all the books. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I shall see you very soon in my next video. Bye.